I'm not ready to take on the world today. I'm not able to make my vows and say I'll take you. I do. I'm not able to make life promises. I'm not ready to have no missiles. I'm not ready. My hand can't keep steady. 'Cause life is not a fairy tale.
What do you want to be when you grow up? We've all heard this question hundreds of times throughout our lives. As a child, we may have said things such as a doctor, a firefighter, an astronaut, or the president. My friend once told me she wanted to grow up to be the crosswalk guard on the way to school. We've all probably chosen tons of different future careers throughout our youth. I know now that my dream as a child to one day be a mermaid is highly unlikely. I'm sure many of us have changed our minds several times since the first time we were asked that question, and I'm sure some people will continue to do so. The problem is, it isn't that easy now to change our minds as it was when we were younger. At around the age of 18, when we were seniors in high school, many of us had to make a major decision with our lives. We had to decide what we wanted to be when we grew up. We had to choose whether or not we wanted to go to college, what college we wanted to go to, and what our major would be, all things that lead to our future careers. This isn't the easiest thing for most people to do, and some people may not be ready for that kind of commitment at such a young age. Unfortunately, society, our friends, families, teachers, and peers put pressure on all of us to make these decisions that some of us may not be ready for.
I think that for most people it's really hard to decide your career path at such a young age because you're not really exposed to that much stuff and you don't know what you want to do unless you've always had a certain path that you've always wanted to pursue, like a doctor or something like that. It was really hard for me because I never had one career that I've always wanted to pursue my whole life.
I just think it's ridiculous to try and put such a huge life decision on someone who's 18, who's just getting out of the house, being on their own for the first time, like experiencing life on their own and in a new environment, trying to figure out what they want to do for the next 50 years of their life. I just think it's insane.
Well, pretty much when you're 18, like when I wasn't really thinking of the future much. You're mostly living in the now, and it's hard to really set aside time and actually do research on what you want to be. I mean, they had stuff in school where you do research on like a certain career field, and it was supposed to kind of be like, something that you were kind of interested in, and that way you could possibly go into that career field. But I mean, it's something that seems like it's more society developed than it is yourself. So it's really hard to figure out and know what you're going to do when you're 18.
It's kind of hard because not very many people know what they want to do. A lot of my friends were just freaking out because you have to decide your major when you apply for a college, and that's so stressful. So a lot of people just choose the easiest thing to get into a college, but that's like the most all of a sudden you're 18, you're an adult, and you have to decide the rest of your life. That doesn't seem very fair. I mean, luckily I knew what I wanted to do, but a lot of people have no idea. They have to decide their life basically at 18, and society pressures them to act like an adult when they're not ready to do that.
In order to find what we are truly meant for in life, we need to do some soul searching, try a few different things out, see what we like. But even though some people are already certain of their career paths at 18, not all of us are.
I myself had no idea what I wanted to do. That was really hard for me. Like my first semester of college, I only took gen eds, and I had a really good advisor. I knew I wanted to do something within the corporate world, but I didn't want to be a business major, and he suggested communications, and that it really took off from there what I found I wanted to do. It was my major at first, and then I changed it to education because my mom wanted me to, because she was a teacher for a really long time, and just with the economy, it's a more stable job, but I didn't like it, so I switched back. I would like to get a job in public relations or like something in the media world, like working, not necessarily broadcasting, but working like behind the scenes of like a television or news station. I would really like to get an internship, maybe not next summer, but the summer afterwards, at like a TV station or a radio station, and then like go from there, because a lot of times like if you intern there, they'll hire you there and then like get a job there. And then I want to move to either Austin, Texas, because that's a really good communication network, or to Los Angeles, because that's obviously a really good communication like area, and then I guess just go from there.
I chose it on a whim, kind of, because I felt like I just needed to choose something. I just wanted to get out of the house as far away as possible, for the most part. Well, not only have I switched majors a bunch of times, but I have switched schools a whole bunch of times. So I've gone from fashion merchandising major at Southern Illinois University, and then I left after first semester because I decided it's not where I belonged. And then I went to Waubonsee Community College and dabbled with the idea of being a teacher or doing advertising and marketing, and also a whole bunch of other weird things. I don't even know why. And then I decided, I like sat myself down and made a list of all the different careers that I like ever thought of, because I decided I needed to get on track and like figure out what I needed to do so I could figure out like what classes I wanted to take and whatnot. So I did like career cruising online and dermatology. That's what I came up with. I'm sticking to it. Well, number 1, to get into med school. Number 2, get out of med school and become a certified doctor, get my PhD, and start helping people, like making a difference in other people's lives. I can see myself doing it in the long run though. Like, probably not after I'm 60 years old, but for a good amount of time.
When I was 18, I wanted to be a race car driver. Well, I figured it'd be better financially if I went to community college first, made my way up to an associate's degree in my field. A lot of my friends were going there. It was a place closer to home, more convenient, it didn't seem like I'd be wasting any time, and I wasn't quite yet ready to move out of the house just because it wasn't a thing of living on my own. It was more of a thing financial-wise, and I got to stay closer to friends. Well, I'm a really big car fanatic. That and engineering, I like building and designing my own things. Well, I'm looking at getting a job in drafting and possibly engineering, moving up to that or something. Not quite sure on that. I just work a part-time job where I make enough money to, like pay for things that I like, I enjoy, I can pay for my bills easily, and I start up my own little business. I kind of developed something that there was a high demand for, and I saw a niche in the market that no one was making this product yet, so I started developing it, and I started making it and producing it. My goals right now are I'm going pretty much to kind of like a training course for drafting, computer drafting, and once I'm done with the class I get a certification that says I've taken the course. I was possibly thinking of going back to my community college and finishing up, getting an associate's degree there. That way I just look a bit more credible. But that was really it. Either that, or if I find a good job directly in my field, I was going to just jump straight into it. I see myself in a career in my field, drafting, and that, with the car I want, and just kind of driving around the track on the weekends.
I knew I wanted to be a teacher, but I didn't really know what subject, and then Spanish seemed to be the easiest for me. So then in high school, I just decided I fell in love with Spanish. I knew I wanted to go to Spain, and U of I has a really good study abroad program for teaching Spanish. And then I knew just the basic teaching program here would lead me to teach any high school I wanted to. I wouldn't mind getting my master's in linguistics so that I could teach at a college level while being a TA. It's likely I wouldn't mind going into being a principal or anything, but that's later on. But yeah, I want to teach for a long time. I really like helping kids, and I grew up with everyone in my family teaching, so I just have been around the atmosphere forever, and kids have came back and like with family members 20 years later thanking them, and it's just a really cool thing to experience, and I kind of want to do that. career goals, honestly, to establish an ESL program in a school, because a lot of the high schools have terrible ESL programs and kids who are learning English just basically fail or drop out and no one really does anything about it. So, and then other than that, just teaching kids Spanish. I've always just wanted to do that. I don't know what else I would do.
My dad once told me, you don't know something unless you experience it. We need to experience things before we can decide where we want to go in life. Some people are ready to make that decision at 18, whereas others are not. We can't change the pressure society puts on us to make this choice, but we should take time to think and evaluate what is the best choice for ourselves. Sometimes we make mistakes or change our minds, but we should choose what is best for us when the time comes and when we are ready.